Listen to me. There are people sitting down here today that will look back and say, if I knew what I know now, I would not have wasted money the way I wasted it. Many of you, the money you wasted on your wedding alone, wedding 17 years ago, even the photographer collected 200,000 and a plot of land was 200,000, and now you're still a tenant. You spend so much money on that wedding. You borrowed car, you wore gown, you wear everything. Today now, you can't pay school fees for the children you were brought into the world. Even the naming ceremony of your first child, you block streets, and now the road is blocked. Delayed gratification. As money comes, don't waste it, because if you begin to make money, there are many of you young boys, young girls now, you're making money, you have a good job, you are not married, your responsibility is not much. This is the time to start things for the future. Because listen to me, my mother will always say, June and July, June and July. Life is June and July. One is 30 days, one is 31 days. And my mother will always say, no matter how much February, because February she decided to my 30. There is no way February will run. It can't enter 30. Every 4 years, it will enter 29. Hello? So many of you young boys, young girls, you are in IT, you are in the corporate world, you are doing international work, you are making money now, no husband, no wife, no children, but you are buying designer bag when your destiny is not designed. You are fixing eyelashes, fixing nails when you have not fixed your life. You are buying bone straight when your life is not straight. You have 3 handsets like a 419. You don't have any shares in the telecom industry. You are wearing 3-piece suits. You don't have 3 plots of land. Something is wrong with you. Something is wrong with you. This is the time to tie that money down in an investment, tie it down in things that will change your life, because you will wake up one day and discover that it does not always work like that. You will just come into a season and money is not flowing the way it used to flow, and you say, Kai, I wish. That's why we're here. So the law of delayed gratification. Number 3 is the law of savings. The law of savings. You need to save money. If you don't save, you are not safe. When you study the Bible, it's there. All these things are there. The world that we live in, when Joseph came to Egypt, the dream that Pharaoh had, the Bible says that he had the dream, the lean cow swallowing the fat cow, lean whey swallowing, and he had it twice. And when Joseph came, he said, this is the interpretation. You had the dream twice because God is showing us the way the world will operate. It's called wealth cycles. There will always be 7 years of plenty, 7 years of famine. So the principle is that seasons of plenty and seasons of famine will always be in the world. So what you do in the season of plenty is what will help you in the season of famine. So most of the time, when you see yourself going through crisis, it is a report card of the kind of life you have lived when you were making money. It's just a report card that is coming out. Hello? So you should have seasons where no matter what is happening around, you always have goosey because you have saved. Let me show you the Bible. You see, a prophet stepped into the palace of the Eden king. His name is Elijah. Comes to the palace of Ahab, the Eden king, and he says, in the presence of the Lord before whom I stand. Why? Because he was a carrier of the presence of God. So when he came into the palace of the hidden king, he said, I'm standing in the presence of God, not in your presence, because I came with the presence. And he now said, there shall be no rain but by my word. Now he was a prophet, but he didn't understand a lot of other things. So by virtue of that prophecy, he changed the vegetation. No rain equals to no harvest. No harvest equals to no food. No food equals to hunger for everybody, including the prophet that prophesied. Including the prophet that prophesied. And then he now had to go, he had a connection that other did not have. He now had to hold on to the supernatural. Lord, God said, okay, go. I'll prepare the raven to feed you. He now shifted into the supernatural. But because of his prophecy, somebody else was suffering. And God now said, you see, you cannot create the problem and be enjoying supernatural and stop other people from enjoying. So the brook must dry up so that you can move to the next. Because see, the perfect will of God is not to bless you. The perfect will of God is to make you a blessing. Bless. So when he was in charity, he was being blessed. But God said, you can't be here, you need to go and be a blessing. So he said, I have now prepared a widow to preserve you. But people of God, she was what? A widow. Are you listening? I'm going somewhere. She was what? A widow. This was 3.5 years into famine. 3.5 years into famine, when brooks have dried up, when rivers have dried up. By the time the prophet shows up, she said, I have water. Where did she have water? 3.5 years into famine, she stored it. She had food. What has she been eating for 3.5 years? What she saved was saving her. It was when the savings was about to expire that God now sent the prophet so that she can now release the remaining as a seed to go into the supernatural. But you now, you are a widow and you are a liability to the church. I'm a widow, and so you are a widow. So when you were not a widow, what was your impact in the church? When you and your husband were in church and you had money, were you tithing? Were you giving? Were you in a department? Were you going for evangelism? Were you committed? Now you have lost your husband. Yeah, there is no love in that church. Was there love in your life before you lost your husband? Church will now carry all the responsibility of your life. Go and read your Bible. Go and read your Bible. The Bible says widows should be taken care of by their family. It's only widows indeed. That is no family, nobody to help you. You will now come to the church. You will now be fasting and praying. You will be committed. Then church will now take care of you. Not that you not. Widowhood is not a license for poverty. Hey, I'm a widow. I'm a widow. No, this woman was a widow taking care of a prophet. Hello, someone say savings. So you need to save at least 10% of every income that comes into your life. When you save, savings is not an investment, but you need savings in order to invest. Everyone should save a minimum of between 6 to 8 months of their living expenses in cash, so that when life happens, you have 6 months to 8 months to reinvent yourself. I've been saying this for decades. When COVID came, we saw what happened. A lot of people that you thought were okay, COVID revealed their deficiency. Some people died in COVID that you thought were rich people. Were doing GoFundMe to gather money for their widow. Why? Because they have official car, official coffin, official accommodation, official travel, and all the money they were making, instead of tying it down into investment that will help them, they did not do what needs to be done. So you need to say, somebody say save. So what you save today will save you tomorrow. Number 4 is the law of asset acquisition. The law of asset acquisition. Riches are cash based, wealth is asset based. When you say a man is rich, it's because he has money. When you say a man is wealthy, he has asset that is producing money. So you need to have assets. So one of the reasons why you save is so that savings can now be used to acquire assets. What is an asset? An asset is anything that appreciates in value. An asset is anything that appreciates in value. What's an asset? An asset is anything that produces cash flow. So when you are investing or acquiring asset, you are thinking, this thing I want to use this money to buy, will it increase in value? When you buy that car and move it out of the car lot, the value reduces. I hope you know that the Range Rover of those days are the towing vehicle of today. Hello? Range Rover in those days, they are the towing vehicle of today. So all this one, you are buying car as if you are buying a coffin. Something is wrong with you. I'm telling you, you are just buying car. You don't have any assets. How can you have, I don't know about Abuja, but in Lagos, it's so terrible. The educated ones are the tenants, the illiterate are the landlord. That's telling you, educated people. Look, I have property that people are paying me 8 million per annum rent. And I'm like, some people in normal 8 million. I collect it all, but I'm feeling sorry for them. Because if you bring 16 million, I can give you a 2-bedroom bungalow with 16 million. That will be your home forever. Do you understand? And you are paying me 8 million every year, they are paying. Hello? There are people paying rent of 12 million in Lagos, 15 million. So they will pay 15 million naira rent and now pack a 40 million naira car there and think that they are normal people. You are not normal. Something is fundamentally wrong with your thinking faculty. Hello? And then the landlord will now be calling them Oga tenants. Oga tenants. I hope that foolishness is not in Abuja. Hey, day. So you people, you live fake life here too. So the law of what? Asset acquisition. There are many asset classes that can help your life, but the greatest asset I will advise you to get is real estate. Real estate is very powerful. Is the greatest vehicle of wealth creation that also doubles as a vehicle of wealth retention. So I say to people, don't do cash banking, do land banking. Because a city today was a village yesterday. A village today will be a city tomorrow. In 2008, we bought 70 acres of land in New Cairo. We bought it 50,000 naira per plot, 2008. The estate is still there now. I have like 50 something buildings to roofing level that we're selling now. The land is now 10 million naira per plot. 10 million for a land we bought in 2008 or now. You know, see how you done long. But that 2008, you also had 50,000. You could have bought it, but you bought a wristwatch. That 2008, you had 300,000. You could have bought an acre, but you bought a phone. You bought BlackBerry. Now you are black and you are blurry. And both you and the BlackBerry, you have expired. You bought Nokia 3310. And you're a big boy. Now your Nokia is Palasa. It's now a dumb phone. It's not even smart. The law of what? Asset acquisition. Number 5 is the law of investment and cash flow. The law of investment and cash flow. So real estate is powerful. But in investment, you need to now look at different investment vehicles that you can explore. So let me run you through some things you can explore. You can explore money market. You can explore the capital market. You can explore collaboration, and you can explore intellectual properties. So let's start with money market. So money market is you investing in financial instruments in different levels. So you can do fixed deposits, call deposit, you can do bonds, you can do treasury bills, you can do mutual funds, you can do annuities. All these are financial instruments. Or you can do stocks. You can buy shares of publicly quoted company, both locally and internationally. So any product you are using that you see people using that is becoming popular, see how you can buy into it. So you're on Facebook, buy Facebook shares. You are using Apple product, buy Apple share. You are on TikTok, you are on. So look for shares of those companies. Samsung, or what are they? So look for all those companies in Nigeria. Look for the companies that are doing well. Look for the indices. Whether you want to start with, penny stock or blue chip stock, buy them. The Nigerian stock market is doing extremely well, and it's been doing well in the last 2 years. But people are not aware because they are still clouded by the 2008 crisis, and they don't know that there's so much money now in the stock market that people are making money. So you can do that. Then you can do collaborations. What do I mean by that? You see, it is better to own 10% of a billion than to own 100% of zero or 100% of 100. So you may not be an entrepreneur, but you can be a part owner of businesses. You can become an equity investor and say, okay, I want to own 5% of this business. So you have heard of Paystack, you have heard of Flutterwave, you have heard of a lot of IT companies that have grown to become a unicorn, that doing $10 million and above, and many of these people are cashing out. When this guy starts, maybe all they need is $10,000. Because I'll give you $10,000 for 30% equity. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, you move on with life. But once you click, you'll be amazed. So you can become a part owner of others and do joint venture with people and do collaboration with people, and it will help you. And then you can go into what is called intellectual property. You can buy gold, and I'm talking real gold, and then you can go into intellectual property, which is investing in yourself, producing products and services that belongs to you. Like all my books now, I've written over 100 books. So some of my books are in Ukraine, Russian language, I'm getting royalty. Some of my books are in, 9 of my books are in French languages. All over, I'm getting royalty. My books are on different platforms, I'm getting royalty. So I sit down, I work, I no work, money they flow in different currency. My children will be enjoying. So it's because of investment. So look at what you can invest. It's called the law of investment and cash flow. So what you are thinking of is, what can I put money into that will continue to produce money for me without me having to do anything else?